Good evening. You're listening to the Garden City Community Chat Show with your hosts Carrie, Tom, and Mike. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Well, hello, Garden City and our surrounding neighbors. Welcome to episode number 651 of the Garden City Community Chat Show. It's Thursday, March 7th, 2024. We're so happy you could be with us tonight. We hope you're all safe and doing well. I am your host, and also joining me tonight, former Garden City Councilman Mike Jones. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing pretty good, other than the fact that I spent most of the afternoon in the hospital with diarrhea and vomiting.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You're kidding. You okay now?
Well, that remains to be seen. I guess so.
Okay. Well, you just take it easy there. Hope you feel better. Garden City's meteorologist, Opera Tom, got busy with his real job tonight, so he did just send in a recording of the latest weather, so we'll have that for you shortly. Mike's going to be back a little later, too, with some community events and announcements for you. We'll get you updated on those. I just want to mention a couple of upcoming shows for you. Next week, March 14th, our guest will be Richard Werbowski. He's the owner of Chubb's Smokehouse Catering. He's going to talk about, he's got a new permanent location and talk about all the good food that he has. And then on March 21st, Garden City Public School Superintendent Derek Fisher is going to join us. So get those calendars marked, and we hope that you'll be able to join us. All right, first up, Dr. Tom's going to be here shortly with the current forecast, but tonight we have another informative show for you. State Representative Dylan Wegela is going to be here shortly and get us caught up on what's happening in Lansing and much more. So have your questions ready, and we'll see if we can get those answered for you. Also, Joe Bartley's back with another J&J Taxes and More tax installment, tax talk for 2024. So stay tuned for that. He'll be here right after Dr. Tom's weather. Now, before we get to Tom, let me just mention real quick, if you're watching us live on Facebook and YouTube, go ahead and post your questions and comments in the comments section. You can also find us live right now on Facebook at facebook.com/GCChat, and on YouTube, just search for the Garden City Community Chat Show. You can also email your questions to us at gccommunitychat@gmail.com, which is up on the screen right under my name. I also put it in the comment sections for you. And we'll do our best to get your questions answered. We also want to take a quick minute to say thank you to each and every one of you who support us every Thursday night, not only from our hometown of Garden City, but several of our surrounding communities as well. We really appreciate everyone's support, and we'll continue to not only promote our community, but yours as well. And speaking of community, if your community organization or business has any events, announcements, or cancellations that you'd like to get out to our listeners, and if you'd like to be featured on our show, what should they do, Mike?
They should probably email us, Gary.
Exactly. Email the details to us at gccommunitychat@gmail.com or message us on Facebook. at our Facebook page, facebook.com/GCChat, and Mike will be more than happy to pass that information along. Remember, you're always welcome to come on the show and promote your community, business, or organization anytime. We also encourage any local business to check out and join the Garden City Business Alliance. See what great things they can do for you. For more information, go to gardencitybusinessalliance.org. All right, we're going to get Tom in here now with the latest check of the weather, and then we're going to spend some time chatting with State Representative Dylan Wegela. I guess Tom has a interesting email question that he received that he's going to talk about too. So let's get Tom in here right now. Okay, let's see what he has in store for the rest of this week and the weekend coming up. Tom, take it away.
After kind of a warm start to the work week and a little bit of rain as well, we're starting to kind of see a cool down as we kind of go toward the end of the work week. And overall, it was great to see the sunshine today during the afternoon hours. And we're going to see some changes developing on the horizon today. And overall, we're going to be seeing kind of some increasing cloud cover as we get into the overnight hours tonight. And we're going to be seeing kind of a cloudy start to the day on Friday. And we're going to start to see rounds of showers beginning to develop as we get into the late afternoon and evening hours, probably after 2-3 p.m. And overall, it's going to continue to increase as we get into Friday night and into Saturday as well. So we're going to be seeing a pretty good rainy pattern developing late Friday and continuing into Saturday before kind of winding down as we get into the day. The afternoon and evening hours of Saturday, it will probably begin to break up and start to dry things out. And overall, we're going to be seeing kind of some cooler temperatures as well, staying into the low to mid 50s for high temperatures during this rainfall. And overall, we're going to begin to cool things back down behind the system as we get into Saturday evening and into Sunday. We're definitely going to be probably seeing temperatures dropping into the 30s for lows and highs. As we get into Sunday, we're probably going to see a little bit of snow potentially on the backside of the system, just given the cold air and the potential of lake effect snow flurries moving across the state. No snow accumulations are expected with this, but it's just going to be some on and off snowflakes just flying into the air as colder air continues to wrap in, and fairly blustery conditions as well as we get into Saturday night and into Sunday as the system begins to pull in that colder air and a little bit of snow flurry action as well. The good news is that it will be also clearing the skies fairly quickly as we get into Sunday night and into Monday. And overall, we're going to be seeing clearer skies as we get into the early part of next week as well. And overall, temperatures are probably going to begin to warm up as well. We're going to be seeing temperatures to start the week of next week into the low 50s, and then we're going to probably warm up into the mid 60s or so to kind of toward midweek. And we're going to be seeing more rounds of rain beginning to develop as we get toward mid to late week as well, with that kind of warmer air moving in as well. But no significant snow events at this time. Still kind of seeing pretty just good rounds of rain moving through, some cooler air behind it for a short period of time, and then warming things back up, which is very, very typical for this time of year. So continue to kind of delve into that. It will be good for all the plants and the grass as they continue to kind of wake up and grow, and we see that rain really soaking into the ground as well. So that is kind of where we're at over the next week or so when it comes to weather pictures. Other than that, we're going to probably just continue to do the roller coaster weather when it comes to temperatures for probably the rest of the month of March. We're just going to be seeing toward the mid portion of the month, probably some mid 60s, which is next week. And then we're going to kind of probably cool things back down as well, probably into the 40s and 50s for highs as we get toward the end of March. So not really significantly warming up, I don't think, but we're definitely staying on the cooler side of things to wrap up the rest of the month of March. So I know some of those warmer days, you definitely want to start to get all the plants and what have you already, but just our weather is not going to cooperate when it comes to overnight temperatures. They're definitely going to continue to be below freezing at times. And that will obviously be no good for that. So you're just going to have to be patient with kind of the warmer weather continuing to kind of slowly inch in at times. So other than that, that's kind of where we're at with our weather over the next kind of couple of weeks as well. Other than that, it's been fairly stormy across the middle country, across the plains. There's rounds of storms moving through with a lot of rainfall, and that's going to continue to kind of, again, move toward us. But no severe weather, just some ongoing rain showers with that across our neck of the woods, and overall, not really seeing too much in the way of anything outside of just our busy weather with these storms moving in and out as well. So that is kind of where we're at. If you have any additional questions, you can go to my website at DopplerTomsWeather.com, and it will keep you updated with the current weather across our neck of the woods here in Metro Detroit. So that is kind of where we're at when it comes to our general weather picture. Now, believe it or not, this is the first, but Carrie did send me that we had a question. A fan had us a question about a topic when it comes to kind of a weather point of view, and I'm going to probably explore that as we kind of go throughout this. So I'm going to kind of highlight what the question was about and kind of continue to kind of roll into my thoughts about what we were thinking with this. So this is a question about the upcoming hurricane season, which is crazy to think about when we're in the month of March. But yes, it is coming. It is the first day of hurricane season is June 1st across the Atlantic hurricane area region. And overall, we're going to continue to kind of see seasonal forecast for hurricanes coming out over the kind of the next couple months or so. And overall, there could be maybe a little bit of an active pattern when it comes to hurricane seasons. I am not a big fan when it comes to seasonal hurricane forecasting because, yes, you could say you're going to have an above average season. But the problem is it doesn't tell you where these hurricanes are going to go. It just says that you could potentially see a more active period when it comes to more hurricanes, a couple more hurricanes than usual than the previous season. So as we kind of go into the exact information of where these hurricanes are going, it doesn't sound very helpful because they could be all out on sea and doesn't really affect anybody other than the fish, and it doesn't really help when it comes to kind of the active hurricane season pattern. So my rule of thumb is to always be prepared for hurricane season. I say this every year when it's upcoming because you're always going to have the very alarmist hurricane forecast when it says it's going to be an active pattern each and every year. And you always need to be prepared with a kit if you live on the Gulf Coast states or East Coast of the United States. And another little aspect of this question is when it comes to kind of the naming of systems. And believe it or not, this is out of anybody's control. This process of naming tropical cyclones like hurricanes is kind of going all the way up into kind of the World Meteorological Organization, which is basically an organization that has a very kind of worldwide view of kind of the meteorological parameters when it comes to kind of all aspects of every inch of kind of the global kind of ocean patterns. So there is a committee that actually meets biannually, and they actually come up with these names well into advance, and they kind of rotate the names around as well. And overall, kind of looking at what this question kind of explores is would kind of the discussion of kind of revamping the naming system become easier, or is it going to just continue to kind of confuse everybody when it comes to just the names of them? And would we kind of be open to changing them and kind of using a different way of kind of potentially coming up with names and having kind of the namings of it being potentially auctioned off, and you can have your name of one of them, and then that could potentially help people with the affected storms as well. These are interesting ideas, but they will never happen, given that the fact that this committee comes up with these names well into advance, and they have them probably years in advance of a hurricane season. And the selection of these names is based off the familiarity to the people in each region. So these names are for each basis. They go from the Atlantic hurricane season, the Pacific hurricane season, the Indian Ocean, believe it or not, has also names. So each of these names is more distinctively tied to a familiarity of the region. And it's also aimed to the understanding and remembrance of these cyclones if they make landfall in any of those locations. And the naming is basically a couple factors go into it. It wants to be short and concise to the point and easy to understand when it comes to communications. Kind of the uniqueness of some names cannot be used in other locations, which is why you sometimes each season see a very strange name from time to time. And overall, most of the time they're more easier pronounced names, but some of them have to be shifted around because other regions can't use that name. So they just have a wide list of names that they kind of throw around and kind of move around as well. So that is kind of my thoughts on that. It would be interesting, but I am not in favor of really moving around any of this kind of procedures. It's been ongoing for quite a while, and it's pretty locked in at this point. They do retire names. So if there is a significant hurricane that affects a lot of people, they get rid of that name and then they kind of filter in a new name on the list that they have as backup list. So even if we run out of every single name during the active hurricane season, there's a plan and a supplement in the list as well. So there's a backup plan for that. So hopefully we don't have to deal with an active hurricane season as we go into the upcoming season, but we could definitely deal with a little bit of fun weather as we kind of go toward the hurricane season. Nothing really affects us too much here in Michigan, but we could deal with a little bit of rain with some systems as well. But hopefully it's not going to be too bad of a hurricane season. And I think the best advice, even for this upcoming severe weather season, potentially for Michigan, is to always be prepared with an emergency kit. So that is my best advice for that. So other than that, that's kind of the general look of that question. If you have any other questions weather-wise, I'm more than open to answering them and to see kind of what your thoughts are on with all that. So other than that, that's kind of what we have for tonight. So if you want to continue to kind of look at the current weather picture, again, just go to my website, dopplertomsweather.com, and it will keep you updated as we continue to roll on the month of March.
All right. Very interesting. Thank you, Tom. I hope that answers your questions, Radar Ray. All right, I want to say hi to Shannon Coffey, the notary babe. She's in there. Also, Captain Steve Ray from the Garden City Fire Department. How you doing, Captain? Michael Bingle just joined us. How you doing, Michael? Also, I believe Kathy Ward is in there. So hope you're doing well. All right, let's introduce our guest for tonight. We are pleased to welcome back State Representative for the 26th District, Mr. Dylan Wegela. How you doing,
Hey,
sir?
everybody. This is, I think, my third time on the show now. It's been a while, though. I was thinking about it. I think I had caught like one of your episodes. And I'm like, I got to get back on there. So thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anytime. Yeah, just contact me and we'll work it out. So look, first off, why don't you tell our listeners what communities you represent in the 26th District?
Yeah, so I think people are aware we had district change just recently because of the commission's maps. This is prior to me taking office. So it's Garden City, Inkster, Southeast Westland, basically Westland southeast of Cherry Hill and Wayne, and then Northeast Romulus. I believe the majority of Romulus, but Romulus got split into 3 separate districts. There's 3 reps that represent Romulus.
Okay. Now you're about to finish your first term as rep. So is it everything that you thought it would be, or is it more?
That is a wonderful question. It is certainly eye-opening. I think we have a lot to work on in the space of democracy, and a lot of reforms that I think need to be made. And I think anyone who's been following me, I haven't been shy to say that. But it's funny because I went from teaching where kids are super honest, or they'd make fun of my hairline, to a world where you're everybody's best friend when you can get them something, and then if you can't, you're not. And then also just politics in general, people double speak. I've really tried to be transparent and honest, even to a fault, maybe.
Yeah, well, that's good to be transparent for sure. So let's go over a few of your accomplishments here. I did want to bring this up. Hold on a minute. We will get this up there. Get rid of this. Put this down there. Bring this up. There we go. All right, I got a few slides here, and you can comment on them. First off, how about you wrapping up the 2023 year?
Yeah, I think honestly on this, what I'm most proud of is the attendance record, because
100%. Wow.
I people sign up for this job, and I believe you firmly have to show up. I was voting from the gallery when I had COVID. I made sure I made it out there if I could physically, because that's the job. That combined with 4,000 doors knocked. I've actually been knocking doors this year as well, because what I found was our stateside email list is we have like 300 people for the whole district for 90,000 folks. So I've been trying to sign them up, because I don't believe any state rep, since emails really become popular, has actually been intentional. So I've been asking people at their doors to sign up for the email. And if you want to sign up from home, you can go to repwegela.com, just repwegela.com, and sign up for our email list to stay informed. And lastly, we obviously we've been on a lot of bills, co-sponsored, and we've sponsored several ourselves. But $3.7 billion in voting against tax breaks and cash payments to multi-billion-dollar corporations. This is something I promised to fight against. I believe our tax dollars should go to things that help, working class people, roads, other infrastructure like water line replacement, schools. We need $3 billion in bridge repairs. I've actually voted against more tax breaks and cash payments for multi-billion-dollar corporations than any Democrat in the history of Michigan, I believe, at this point. In 1 year. That's how many we did last year, which is actually quite shocking.
Yeah. They needed that many tax breaks?
There's this debate going on. And for people who've been following politics for a long time, this is essentially what is called trickle-down economics. I'm not sure when it has made its way into the Democratic Party the way that it has. As people know, watching, Democrats are in control. I disagree with the methods. The idea is if we don't compete for some of these major factories, they will not come to the state and they'll go somewhere else. So, for example, we gave $800 million to a project to bring a Ford battery plant here in Marshall, Michigan. And it created 2,500 jobs, but the average pay was $40,000, which is below median income for the area. So doing the math, I think it was something like $300,000 a job. That math doesn't compute to me. And I think most people, when they look at that, they're kind of a little head scratcher.
Yeah, interesting. All right. I know that you've really been a thorn in DTE's side for sure. And we appreciate that, believe me.
Yeah.
Because they have been a real headache. What can you tell us where you're at?
Yeah, this is what I'm working on most currently. And this is a little wonky, so I'll try to narrow it down for people watching. To put it most simply, DTE made $1.5 billion in profits or so last year, and it doesn't take them much money to influence the system. So the way it all works is DTE's rate increases are controlled by the MPSC, the Michigan Public Service Commission, who gets its marching orders from the legislature. And that's important to note because they are constantly increasing rates. We have some of the worst service in the region with some of the highest prices. So
why did they, why do they keep raising the rates then? Why do they allow it? Why don't they hold their feet to the fire?
You would hope that would be the case. So the MPSC is they're appointed by the governor and they get their tools from us. And in some cases, we haven't given them the correct tools to hold DTE accountable for when power outages are long, et cetera. Some of this is written into state statute. But to kind of like make the point I want to hammer home is 93% of elected officials in Michigan government have taken campaign contributions from DTE and consumers. They are the two top donors in the state. There are only 7% of us or so who have not taken contributions from them, I being one of them. And this is the money that you can see. So there's
they're influencing their vote. Right.
Yeah, they spend about $10 million on politics to make $1.5 billion in profits. It's about 1% of their spending. So it's cheaper for them to influence our vote than it is to actually fix the problem. Then there's all this money, it's called dark money, that is donated to political nonprofits and corporate PACs that we cannot track very easily or at all in some cases. That has a huge influence. And what my office is doing with this piece of legislation is trying to ban the state regulated utilities from donating in that fashion. 15 other states have similar legislation, and we're taking them on. And I'm not doing this alone, right? And I think that's what's important. I'm not just waving my arms in Lansing. I was an organizer, and I realized, especially being in this position, real change has to come from the people, not from us in Lansing. So I'm trying to use my office to amplify those voices. So I'm working with Taking Back Our Power, which is a coalition of grassroots organizations across the state. Clean Water Action's a member, Sierra Club, League of Conservation Voters, Detroit Action, Moses Action, Emergent Justice, and I'm missing, Voters Not Politicians. It's a really big group trying to ban monopoly corporations from donating in this fashion because of the influence it has. I mean, I see it every day, and it doesn't matter what party's in control. It always seems to be that influence is real.
Yeah. Well, this is an election year and you're running. Are you kind of worried that they're going to throw their money behind your opponent?
Yeah. So if you read this, I got asked at a press conference, what are you going to do if DTE spends $100,000 to get you out of office? And especially for people who know me or have been following, I try to make decisions based on what I believe to be right and conscience. And that's how my mother and my father raised me. And I didn't get into politics to just rise to governor or to just toe the line all the time. So my answer to that was simply, I'm willing to knock another 10, 15,000 doors. But plus, I just believe once people hear about what we're doing, they, like the people, whether you're a Republican, Independent, or Democrat, you recognize that this is an issue that needs to be solved, and nobody's doing anything about it. We're trying. We're an uphill battle, but I don't have an opponent yet, and I have support from across the district. So I hope it stays that way, because I want to be able to keep working on behalf of the district. But I also recognize it's important to have people in office who stand up to the bullies, if you will.
Right. Well, you're right. It is up to the people, because DTE, they have affected so many people across the state. I mean, come on, you know what I'm saying? $35 isn't going to cut it. The famous $35. But hey, we need to take it though.
Yes, please. If you're watching this and your power goes out and you are qualified for the $35, go get it, because most people don't, because it's more of a hassle. But
just stay in their
if thousands of us continue to go get that payout, it'll affect the profit margin, which seems to be, for some of these for-profit corporations in particular, the only thing to get them moving.
Yeah, hit them in the pocketbook. Take the damn money, because it's just going to end up in their pocket, right?
Absolutely.
Right. I wanted to mention your coffee hours too.
Yes. So with this, we did quite a few coffee hours last year, and we rotated, and we would notify the public beforehand. But in reflection, and I'm somebody who's really reflective, trying to get better at everything that we do, I realized having a consistent time was important. And I also wanted that time to be after traditional work hours. And I recognize we all work different hours. But every second Thursday of the month from 5:30 to 6:30, we'll be at the Radcliffe Center. The dates are on the board there. We have one next week. And then I'm also doing double time, because I know what it was like for residents in Garden City. Sometimes in the past, they felt like state reps in our area did not pay attention to us. So I want to recognize that I need to make sure that I am present in all of my communities. I live here in Garden City, but every other month I rotate between Westland, Romulus, and Inkster. So you can also come out to those if you would like to, but I'm doing almost double duty on the coffee hours, because I think it is important to have consistency, but it's also important to represent the entire district. Garden City is the largest portion of the district, but it's not by much. We're split pretty evenly between 4 communities.
Yeah, you almost need to clone yourself, don't you?
I get around. I do my best. It's funny, because even today, and I'm sure if my wife is watching this, she'll laugh, but it's our 10-year dating anniversary, not marriage. So we are married, but we still celebrate it, and we're celebrating tomorrow. But I wanted to make sure I came on. So
congrats. All right, let's see. Now, last week in Lansing, from February 27th to 29th, put up a couple bills here if you want to comment on them briefly. You voted
Yeah, I
yes on
can,
this
and,
one.
and I think maybe even more so. And you're going to hear my little dog barking to go out. But
Oh, that's fine.
I started doing this because I'm always working to be as transparent as I can, and I recognize not a lot of people do this, and this is a lot of work, but I think it's important work. I post every week what's called Last Week in Lansing. I started halfway through last year, where I give a quick summary of the bill, and then I explain shortly why I voted for it. Now, to be fair, there's way more information to these bills than this, and maybe my explanation is longer sometimes too. So if you ever have a question, reach out. But these two bills specifically, what they did, and Juan, let me go. She's going to come on camera. Give me like 2 seconds.
Okay. Live internet, right? Hey, we're dog lovers. We like dog lovers.
All right. So this is Lily.
Hi.
Yeah.
How you
She's
doing?
she was a stray. We found her when we were living out in Arizona. My wife found her. She's a puppy.
Wow.
Both my dogs actually were strays. Winston is a schnauzer, and he got hit by a car, and we found him. Weird strays. Strays are usually not. They don't usually not this little, but anyway, what these bills do is what we're trying to do with them is to make sure businesses that are selling whippets to children, particularly, are held accountable for that. So what this would do is prevent them from selling them for intentionally recreational purposes, which admittedly can be hard to prove in certain circumstances.
Yeah, it's hard to enforce. It's going to be hard to enforce, right?
Right. But at least we won't have like it being so like, I think right now, my understanding, especially in the Detroit area, some of my colleagues were explaining that businesses are very much like they'll advertise almost the whippet canisters now because there's no law. So I ended up voting yes on this, and he passed with a pretty overwhelming majority.
Captain Steve Ray says that big explosion in Clinton Township this week was blamed on a lot of the nitrous, the canisters.
I didn't know. I knew that there was an explosion. I haven't had a chance to catch up on it. But that's
huge.
That's
yeah, terrible. All right, let's see what else we got here. We have another one. School district.
Yeah. So and this is like the nuance, and I think this is what I really love about this job. So I read every single bill, and I won't say who, but not everybody reads bills in Lansing. I intentionally read them all. I actually really like this one. Designed more for rural areas, but it would allow districts to combine, essentially levy millages and taxes in their separate districts to fund the same CTE program. It just allowed, like, that was against the rules before this bill, but it would just allow them to collaborate. And one thing I'll mention about Last Week in Lansing, and it's something I need to figure out how I want to do it, is these bills pass the House. It doesn't mean they've made it all the way through the process yet. So I have to find a way to notate on here where they are in the process at the time I post them. Usually they wouldn't have made it all the way through because I post them the week after. So I encourage people to kind of, if they're really interested in a bill, to keep following it. And maybe I can
pass in the House. If they pass in the House, then they have to go to the Senate and pass, right?
Correct. And sometimes
they die there.
And some of these you'll see are Senate bills. So I don't think for this week, because we're tied 54-54 in the House. So moving things has been a little difficult. But yeah, if you see me report on a Senate bill, likely that bill is getting sent to the governor.
Okay.
And
here's voted no.
Yeah, so the AFL-CIO was opposed to this bill, and my understanding of what this bill would do, essentially, is change some of the regulations around if there's a death on a farm. I think the goal of this and intent of this legislation, I understood to be, families when they have deaths on the family farm, reporting in the current time frame can be problematic in different ways because they're dealing with grief and other things. However, I thought that the definition of family was very broad. I can't remember all the details, but I wanted to stand with my labor partners because I'm a big believer that our unions generally have a good understanding of what labor law is good for workers and not, even in family situations. So I decided to vote no on this bill. I don't believe this bill will move in the Senate, to be honest, but it did pass in the House.
Okay. Well, that's all I have there right now. Let's see. So you did file to run for another term, right?
I did, yes. And I finally just recently got it to show up on the Secretary of State's website. So that's always important.
So let me ask you this. What would you like to accomplish in your second term that you haven't done in the first?
Yeah, and I think that's a tough question, because as I've been in office, I think my definition of effective has changed, because for example, this DTE bill and making the noise on it is, I think, extraordinarily important work. That bill will most likely not make its way through to the finish line. So I believe some of the role that I've played in the Democratic trifecta is pushing us to do better for working people. And that doesn't always mean that I'm going to get a bill passed or I'm going to do this thing or the other thing, but it's amplifying some of the things that labor wants, that environmental groups want, that I believe our community cares about, that working people care about, that maybe this institution doesn't. But I think, to speak broadly, I hope we continue to pass more pro-worker legislation and continue to fund schools and mental health in schools more, and look for a sustainable funding source, because we have cut a ton of taxes in the last year. And I think that could catch up to us, specifically if we hit a recession. So can we look at a way in Lansing to levy taxes, not on working families, not on seniors, but on the wealthy in the state of Michigan, right? We have a flat tax here. We're one of 10 states to have that. And that hamstrings us on our ability to raise taxes to look at Ford Road. We need to fix the curbs there. That's a state, is it state? I think it's a state road. And that's something we could invest in. We have $3 billion in bridges that need to be fixed. We need to look at ways to fund that.
I think Councilman Witt wants to do something with the curbs on Ford Road, doesn't he?
Yes, yeah. That's where it came from. Yeah, we've been chatting about that. And you need state dollars to do that. So for me, it's one to keep being in the community and transparent and coming back to them, because once you lose that and you stop doing that, I think you lose really the pulse of what the working families in our district want. Two, it's to be open, honest, and transparent and fight. And then three, obviously have some things I'd like to get for the city. Like, I think we desperately could use some money for sidewalks to get this city walkable without it being on the burden of residents. But budget's always a weird, complicated thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of having more money in the coffers, and I don't know if you've seen it, but lately on the news about the landfills, where 25% come from outside of Michigan is dumped in our landfills, and they're only charging 36 cents a cubic ton. The national average is $5.30, and we want to raise it to $5. They're not even going to raise it to the average.
This has been an issue for a while. I know, Canada will bring their trash over here.
They're one of the biggest ones.
It's honestly, gosh, I can't remember. It's ridiculous, because we have some of the biggest freshwater sources in the world, and we're making this conscious decision to allow for-profit corporations to essentially pay a little to no tax, which incentivizes them to bury more, trash in our ground, which then trickles into our water system. But I think any change and movement on this would be a positive step in the right direction. But I agree, it should be something that disincentivizes that.
I just can't understand why something hasn't been done sooner. 36 cents? That's ridiculous. Somebody said on the news where we could make up to $80 million if we raised it to $5.
Yeah, and it's actually a really important issue for our district. In Romulus, residents, I knocked this mobile home center that's right next door to a landfill, and you can just smell it as you're knocking the doors. And I feel so bad for residents. You would imagine, like, if you were going to have to live in that situation, and we have the injection wells out there that have very low tipping fees as well, where they were bringing the chemicals from Palestine, Ohio, up here. It's a whole thing, and that's partially federal law, but it's been an issue for the district, and I think raising the tipping fees would be helpful. I think Rep Miller might be working on that, as well as I know the governor has been talking about it lately too.
Yeah, they need to move on it and do something. This might be something you might want to get involved with too. Along with
I certainly am supportive of it. That's the thing, though, right? I'm learning very quickly as an individual. You only have so much time, especially if you want to be president in the district. So I'm trying to have a good balance.
Right. And being a state rep, that's only 2-year term, and a state senator is 4, right?
Correct. And this is campaign year, and being one of only 5 people in the entire legislature, I believe it's 5, maybe plus or minus 1 or 2, that doesn't take corporate money. You have to work twice as hard to get elected.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it seems like you were just elected, not that long
I know.
ago. I mean, that 2 years. Wow.
My wife we plan vacations on non-election years. That's how we started to do it now. It's
no vacation this year.
No, it's going to be like tomorrow. I'm doing legislative doors, but it's pretty soon I'll shift to campaign. But I'm trying to build this email list, so I'm going to try and stay on legislative doors. And the difference is you can't ask people to vote for you on them, etc. But it's important for people to know they can reach out to the office for help. So
yeah. All right, one more thing I just wanted to. The pension tax was finally repealed, but it's kind of confusing. It's like in 4 stages or something. I understand. I don't know if you can explain it. I know Joe Bartley, our tax guy, he kind of tried to.
So my understanding is that when they put the pension tax on in the first place, it was put on they put it on public pensions because they hadn't paid it. Private pensions and 401ks were already, my understanding, paid tax on this anyway. So we expanded it. So it's going to go to, and there's a whole complicated story with my vote. I think I explained it at some point, but I supported it at first, and then they put all this junk in there, in my opinion, so I didn't. But long story short, let me explain what the bill does. It will take taxes off of public and private pensions, as well as 401ks that are have an element of employer mandated contributions and matching. So if I was a 1099 worker and I just had a 401k, they're not included in this. And the way that it's implemented is over a 4-year period. It's 25% for the first year. And when you file taxes, you'll see that. Then it's 50, then it's 75, then it's 100. Now, if you are police or fire, it is 100% year 1. So it's phased in over time. I don't know if I explained that clearly. It's a little muddy.
Yeah. It is. It's a little gray, but hey, I get it. That's government, right?
Sure. I mean, to be honest, I was advocating that it was 100% for everybody right away. I think we could have done that if we didn't spend some of the money the other way. But I won't go on about that here.
All right, let's see. I do have a couple comments in here. Shannon Coffey says DTE is one of the biggest supporters of the Democratic Party. They've contributed about $250,000 to Whitmer's campaigns. You want to comment?
Yeah,
on that?
I mean that's not false information. The reality is they donate to both parties. And they generally like to donate for who's in power, who they think will be in power. I think the Detroit News had a piece on how they spend, I think, almost $2 million to get Dems in majority. If you're looking at all-time recipients, I think that the fact is that Governor Whitmer has taken more money from them than anybody. But anybody any governor, I think you have to raise money to get in office, right? So that would be consistent with the last governor would have been the person in office with the most that was a Republican, right? So the point I'm making is this. 93% of people in office take their money. They donate to both because they know that's going to help them get what they want. So I think when we look at this, I always try not to look at it as individuals and say, oh, it's the Democratic Party or it's the Republican Party, because the reality is, and the truth is, it's both, right? And I'm a Democrat, right? And I'm saying that it is an issue that influences.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask you. With that 93% that take that money, do you think that there truly influences their vote?
That is a tough one. I think some people would. I think most people in my position would say no. I would argue that it does. 90% of elections or so are won by who raises the most money. And people in my position, we definitely want to be reelected, right? Like, even though I don't take that money, I still want to be reelected. As that's the job.
Right.
But I would say it does, because the only logical reason we haven't moved on this is that, I believe, because almost everybody who's an actual person, not a politician, thinks something should be done about this. So why haven't we done anything about it?
Exactly. Why hasn't it? Nobody's moved the needle, right?
We
talk about it, like you say. You say you don't take the PAC money, so
Yeah, and you can actually. I don't think people know this, and maybe I should do a video. But you can look up all of our campaign finance statements. If you could just. I think you just have to Google like Michigan campaign finance statements, and you can search up who's donating to who.
Yeah, where the money's coming from. Yep, and who's taking it. Ed Wilhite from Hog's Backyard Barbecue says, "Great evening. When I get 2 opportunities to listen to Dylan talk."
Yes, I was at the Garden City Business Alliance meeting just before this, and I raced over here.
They were worried you weren't going to either be there or be here, and I says, "Well, he's here. He's going to be here." And they said, "Well, he's going to be here." So you made it right on time. That's awesome. Let's see. I have nothing else in there right now, but we had quite a few people watching tonight. That's very good. Very good. Now, what else did you want to cover while I have you here?
Let's see. I think we covered like the vast majority of what I wanted to talk about. I really wanted to. I will continue to push the email list, because the reality is this: if we're not organized or informed, we don't have any power. And this email list, if you join it, again, it's repwegela.com. It passes on to the next rep, right? So if something happens to me, or if I term out or I don't win re-election, the next rep will be able to communicate with the district. So I'm trying to build this for the future of our district, to keep our residents informed, because at the end of the day, if we don't know what's going on, it's harder for us to engage. And in Garden City, I think, Carrie, you harp about this. I don't think we have a single precinct delegate, at least on the Democratic
side. No, we don't.
Side.
Right, you're right. We don't. I'd like to see that change.
Yeah, and I think I wonder if I actually can sign up. I don't know if that's a conflict, but people should sign up. If you're interested, reach out. I can get you connected to people who have the forums and get you signed up, because at the end of the day, I think it's important for us to be involved as we can. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Michael Bingle, he's got a question here. I overlooked it. Sorry, Michael. In your opinion, what should our president address tonight in his State of the Union address? What are your thoughts? Good question.
I have quite a few.
Yeah, I'm sure he does too.
And I pride myself on honesty. I think that one, he needs to address what is his vision for working class folks in this country, the people who make things work. And when I say working class, I don't believe in this. I believe that the middle class is a myth, and I'll explain that.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it ever really existed. To me, there's people who have to work to survive, and then there's people who make money off of those people who work. And the working class, I think we're always being divided on all of these issues. So I hope he can set his vision for what are we going to do for working people, not special interest groups, not businesses, etc. And then two, I think on top of my mind lately has really been what's going on overseas, right? I want to know really clearly what is his plan to help us move to more peace in the world. I'm not federal, but I definitely do care about children across across the world, and I hope that he puts some pressure on our ally Israel to find a way to wrap this up, because people are starving.
It really has.
It's something I didn't think, I really hoped I wouldn't have to see, to be honest.
Yeah. Elizabeth Freeman says from the Elmwood Blessing Box, you move fast, Dylan.
She was there earlier today. I got a chance to go to the fundraiser for that. It was
spaghetti dinner.
Awesome. I didn't eat because I had promised my wife we'd go out to eat, so I didn't want to fill up. But I came by to support, and it's so amazing to see the work that people across the city are doing.
Yeah, she's been on our show. She's amazing.
Coolest part about this job is meeting so many amazing people that are working, and it changes your perspective too. Because I've knocked on 10,000 doors, and people have been super nice, even when they disagree with me. So people are better than the media.
They don't slam the door in your face, huh?
Sometimes, but not as often.
Yeah, you gotta just let it roll. Let it roll.
I've had more hour-long conversations in people's homes than I've had slam doors in the face.
Right. Good. Michael says, "How about the border?" He's probably going to talk on that, I'm sure.
Yeah. That's probably something he'll have to address tonight. It's funny because
he's going to cover all that, Michael. Believe me.
Yeah, I'm so wrapped up in state level politics. Yeah, and I've been paying more attention to local, federal. It's hard to keep track of it all, especially when I have to look so closely at the state. So admittedly, sometimes I even need a break from federal politics.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it gets crazy, and especially on social media. I mean, it's ridiculous. I just can't get into some of that stuff. It's hard, but I live, eat, and breathe politics, and I do watch it and listen a lot, but sometimes it's really frustrating.
Yeah, and I'll be at the pig race this weekend.
Oh yeah, we'll be there Saturday. Don't forget to vote for or bet on the Chatmeister. That's our
So I actually have never been. How does the
Mike can tell you? He's a Kwanian. Mike, tell him how it goes.
You turn in your money to buy betting slips for each pig that you want to bet on in each of the 6 races.
Yeah, 6 races.
Plus they'll have a winner's race.
Right.
So that'll be 7 races all together. I usually work selling betting slips. So
okay. Yeah.
You can find me at one of those tables where that's taking place.
Yeah, you bet on
cash. Is that what I'm hearing? Bring cash?
Yeah, bring cash.
Oh yeah.
This is one of their biggest fundraisers, probably the biggest, isn't it, Mike?
I got to tell you, I made it to a meeting for the first time sometime last year, and what a just great environment watching people get fined. And I thought it was. Yeah. I keep suggesting every time I get to talk about it, with inflation, they need to raise the fine to 25 cents, but they didn't like that suggestion.
No.
The fire department has a pig in there too, Inferno, the pig to win. Oh, we shall see, Captain. We shall see. Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. So, well, look, I want to thank you for coming out and joining us tonight. I know you've been very busy, and I appreciate it. And come back anytime. We might have to make this maybe once a month, once every 2 months, have you on, give us an update.
Yeah, I think, or quarterly too.
Quarterly,
yeah. More than once a year, we should certainly do. And I'll give as best an update as I can, and maybe it's even like a little bit shorter segment or something. But I definitely love coming on here. I like to tell it how I see it, and again, what I like to tell people is, I personally I don't expect to be right on everything, and I know we have differences of opinion sometimes with people, but I think it's important.
You do listen to your constituents.
And I'm just trying to do the best that I can. And that's been the most humbling part of this job, is learning how much I just don't know. I mean, I'm expected to vote on things that deal with everything that the state has. And it's a lot of homework to figure out, but as I go, I'll have a better understanding of how things work. And I'm here to do that work.
Good, good. Well, we're happy you're there to do it, and I hope nobody runs against you.
Me too. Me too.
And listen, if you want to get a hold of the representative, you can call them 248-662-5792, right?
Yeah, that's the number, the campaign side. Let
Okay.
me give the office number in case anybody needs anything. So this is something I probably should talk about more, but if you know anyone in the community who is struggling with state level programs such as unemployment or Medicaid, when people reach out to the state, sometimes they don't get a timely response. When we reach out on their behalf, the response comes in a lot quicker. We can help you walk through those processes. But you can reach us. Email is 517-373-3818. And then you can email 517-373-3818.
3818. Okay.
And then you can reach us at email. It's just my first and last name, Dylan Wegela @house.mi.gov.
Okay.
We try to get responses as quickly as we can. Obviously, sometimes the things get a little wild up there. So if you ever don't get a response, just keep bugging us until you do, or find me on social and let me know, and I'll check it out. But we try to do the constituent services is really important to me. So
okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, look, thanks again. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and great job always.
Yeah. Hey, take care.
All right. Continue to do the work for us there. Okay. And stay on DTE.
Oh, that I have no problem with. I'm most comfortable in that role. So, all right. Take care.
All right. Take care. See ya. Bye. Night. All right. Good information from State Representative Dylan Wegela. All right, Mike dropped off here. I don't know what happened to him, but we're going to move on. The next city council meeting is Monday, March 18th, 7 p.m. in the council chambers, located at 6000 Middle Belt Road. These meetings are a good way for you to get involved and voice any concerns that you may have as well. Also, a budget meeting will be held at the Garden City Police Department on March 11th at 6 p.m. The public is welcome. Okay, we're going to get Joe in here now with his tax talk segment. And then hopefully Mike will be back in there and we'll do community announcements. So stand by for Joe Bartley from J&J Taxes and More.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tax Talk with Joe Bartley from J&J Taxes and More. So this evening, I thought I would answer a few questions that I've heard this week, actually a couple of times. And one of them is, what happens if I get a form in the mail late after I've already filed, like a 1099 or a brokerage statement, and something that should have been on my tax return but wasn't? So is what you're going to need to do is amend that return and get it amended and add that missing piece on there. Now, the missing piece might cause you to have to pay a little bit, or it could potentially get you a little more money back. Now, is what you want to do, you want to wait and make sure that the original return has already been processed before you go filing an amendment. Now, a lot of tax preparers like myself are probably not going to want to or be able to do an amendment till after the April 15th tax deadline, just because they're too busy. So you be prepared for that. You may have to pay a little bit, or you may get a little refund back, but you will want to amend that. You want to get that done as soon as possible to make sure that you're avoiding any letters. So you want to contact them before they contact you. The other question that I have gotten, and this is kind of a personal note, but I'm sure it's heard at different places. What if I can't get an appointment till after the April 15th due date? So is what you want to do in that case is you want to get an extension filed for you. Now, extensions are relatively easy. For me personally, if you're a returning client, all I need to know is, yes, Joe, file this extension and I can send it out. Now, when you file that extension, that gives you 6 more months to file your taxes. So on a regular 1040 return, which is generally due April 15th, your due date is going to be October 15th. Now, if you happen to have an S Corp, a small business, which is actually due March 15th, that extends your time to September 15th. Now, an S Corp, you're not paying any money in, but if on your personal return, if you have reason to believe that you're going to owe taxes, you want to send in an estimated payment, kind of guesstimate what you're going to owe them, send it in, and that way that's going to help avoid any penalty and interest down the road when you do file your taxes. And then you do want to try to get it filed as soon as you can and not wait to the last minute. The other thing I wanted to touch on for the Michiganders is the state of Michigan has been sending out those state retroactive earned income credit payments from year 2022. So if you fit the criteria, you may get a letter, and it'll be from Big Gretch telling you congratulations that you are going to get this earned income credit mailed to you, and you don't have to do anything. It's going to come to you automatically. And there's criteria if your income is low enough. Generally, if you have children and your income is lower, that can help the cause. And or if you're between 25 and 65 and qualify. So that's just a few things that's come up this week. So if you have a question that you want me to talk about or discuss, please let Carrie know or let myself know, and I'd love to touch on it here on Thursday nights at Garden City Community Chat. So thanks a lot. Again, this is Joe Bartley from J&J Taxes and More. The best way to get a hold of me is by email, and that's joe@jnjtaxesandmore.com. You can check out my website, www.jnjtaxesandmore.com, or the Facebook page, Facebook jnjtaxesandmore.com. Call the office, and you can talk to the other J, Janine, 734-523-8291. Thank you. Y'all have a good week.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Joe did our taxes last Tuesday. We got our federal back already in 7 days. Couldn't believe it, how quick it was. State's still out. All right. You ready, Mike?
I'm ready.
All right. Let's get Mike in here for the community events.
That'll be the day
When you say goodbye, yes, that'll be
the day.
Okay, it's time for some
Make me
community
cry.
announcements. So let's get Mike in here. Mike,
Oh, it's a
take it
life
away.
the day when I die.
All right. Still doing good.
Thank you.
All right. We got some old ones and some new ones tonight.
Okay, carpet cleaner. Carpet cleaning, tile and grout cleaning, upholstery cleaning, hardwood floor cleaning, residential and commercial. Call Dennis Diekman at 734-299-6496. Mobile notary services from our notary babe. She does powers of attorney, wills and trusts, real estate documents. You can contact her at www.notarybabeshan.com.
Yeah, good to see Shannon in there tonight watching the show.
Yeah. Wayne County Veteran Services every Tuesday and Thursday from 8:30 to 4:30 at the Radcliffe Center. You can call Wayne County to make an appointment, 313-506-0302 in the American Legion Department of Veteran Affairs every Tuesday from 9 to 3. You don't have to go downtown. You can get it taken care of right here in Radcliffe.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Angel Aids. Stephanie Peters provides all kinds of services for people that are senior citizens, handicapped, what have you, personal care, housework, year-round lawn care, cleaning, companionship care,
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
bookkeeping. Tech Talk with Julie, one-on-one appointments, first Monday of each month from 4 to 6. There's one on February 5th. That was already passed. March 4th, that's already passed. April 1st is
Yep.
the next one. And one-on-one appointments every Tuesday from 1 to 4. So just call Danielle at 734-793-1856 to make an appointment. Straight Farmhouse is open every Wednesday and Saturday from noon to 3. For information, go to www.straightfarmhouse.org.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff going on there. Go on their website, you'll see them there.
Yep.
Sold out.
Yeah, you can't get tickets at the door.
Yep.
If you haven't bought a
You don't
ticket,
have
you're out of
tickets, you're
luck.
out of luck.
It looks like we're going to have over 300 people there.
Wow. I hope that ain't crammed in there. Should be a lot of room.
No,
Comfortable?
yeah, Rob has made several drawings of layouts and what have you, so it should be okay.
Okay, good.
Tickets are $20. This is the 7th annual.
Yeah.
And I think we've raised over $50,000 so far.
Oh my gosh. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And there's the Chatmeister, so don't forget to put your money on him.
Right. He's got lane 1 in the first race.
Lane 1 in the first race. Awesome. Okay, there he is. Take a good look.
Garden City High School project graduation class of 2024 sports venue fundraiser on Saturday from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Yeah.
So if you go early, you can still do that and the pig race.
Yep.
Bake sale, raffles, 50-50, barrel smoker, and custom cornhole giveaway.
Mm.
Neighborhood Watch, the next scheduled meeting is March 12th at the Garden City Police Department at 7 p.m. Mayor's Forum, this is our guest last week, Wednesday, March 13th at 7 p.m. At City Hall. You can tell the mayor where to go.
That's right. It's even going to have T-shirts.
Yep.
And here's that again, coffee hours.
Coffee hours for our state rep. Next one is March 14th. And then they are the second Thursday of the month from 5:30 to 6:30 at the Radcliffe Center.
Mm-hmm.
Join us at the Garden City Senior Center for Penny Bingo, the first and fourth Wednesday of every month at the Radcliffe Center from 1 to 2. 25 cents per bingo card. Bring lots of pennies. Pennies are used as bingo markers.
That's different.
Yeah. Watercolor Classic. Next one is March 15th at the Garden City Senior Center. It's $5.
Mm-hmm.
12 o'clock.
Yep.
Easter lunch. Enjoy lunch with your favorite bunny. Hops to your table for pictures and delivers your child a special treat. Tickets are $10. It's going to be on March 16th at the Radcliffe Center from 12:30 to 2:30.
Yep.
Join us for a fun Easter craft show. Okay, this is not easy to read. It's going to be on March 14th. It's location at Bodies by Wade. The time is 10 to 3.
Yeah, the address is 34580 Ford Road in Westland.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. It is kind of small.
Yeah. Straight Farmhouse is having a haunted museum public ghost hunt on March 16th at 8 o'clock p.m. Get your tickets now at http :// Grimestone www.judas.com. Okay. High rate fare.
Garden City Hospital.
Garden City Hospital, clinical positions for RNs, CT technicians. I was just in Garden City Hospital this afternoon for 5 hours.
Wow. Yeah, this is going to be Wednesday, March 20th from 9 to 4. 15,000 sign-on bonus. Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring your resume. They're going to hire right on the spot, some of them. Wow.
Grab your smartest friends and join the Westland Rotary Club for our third annual trivia night on Friday, March 22nd. The Joy Manor in Westland, $200 per team of 8 players. Doors open at 6. Trivia starts at 7. Easter cookie decorating, Saturday, March 21st.
23rd.
March 23rd. Thank you.
Yep.
10 o'clock to
1 to
2:30?
1 to 2.
1 o'clock to 2:30.
Yeah. $12 a kid. Ages 7 to 13.
Lucky you. Contact Carol Lee at 734-679-5563. You have a certified Sensi
consultant, yeah. She
Yeah.
was on your show a couple of weeks ago, remember?
Yeah.
Carol Billick.
Garden City Public Library presents a cooking club with Emily Schwartz. Plant-based cooking, Saturday, April 6th, 2 to 3:30. Adult bingo night at the Garden City Public Library. Join us for our monthly bingo night. Win book prizes and more. Open to all ages, 14 and up, with a parent. Sign up by phone or online, April 3rd from 6 to 7:30.
Bingo.
Yep. Reindeers.
Beginner Spanish.
Beginner Spanish, gosh. Mondays, April 1st through May 20th from 6 to 7:30. 13 and up, $40 per person, held at the Radcliffe Center.
Interesting.
Yeah. Inspire Theater. I bought a ticket for April 5th, I think it is.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Death Trap.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They got shows starting on March 29th through April 14th.
Yeah, $20 a ticket.
Yeah. Life Safe Academy, certified babysitters, CPR first aid. Fee is what? $5?
$55.
$55.
Wednesday, April 17th at the Radcliffe. This is something they're really pushing, CPR now, hands-on CPR.
Yeah. It's their advertisements are that you're more likely to save the life of a family member than you are a stranger with.
Yeah. At home, mostly.
Yeah. The Little Shop of Horrors, Garden City High School Theater Program presents book and lyrics by Howard Admin, music by Alan, I can't read that last name, Menken.
Yeah.
It's April 26th and 27th at 7 p.m. and April 28th at 2 p.m.
Yep. That O'Leary. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for students and seniors, $15 at the door. This is the Straight Farmhouse event.
Yeah, the road rally, April 28th.
Mm-hmm.
Check in at 2:45, starts at 3. Reach your final destination by 6 p.m. There'll be raffle prizes, a 50-50 raffle, cash prizes for top 3 teams. For tickets or more information, go to the straightfarmhouse.org or call Kim at 734-812-1559. Get your team
Cool.
of 4 to 6 together.
Yeah, road rallies are a lot of fun.
Yeah. City of Dearborn Heights is senior citizen program. Gun Lake Casino leading Thursday, May 9th. $20 players package. You must have proper ID at the casino to obtain your players package.
Yep.
Registration begins on April 4th. It ends on April 17th. Due at the registration, $35 for residents and $40 for non-residents.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Says they'll get the package contains $10 in slot pay and $10 food credit.
Yeah.
That's good. So you get
Yeah.
20 back. It's our good buddy Don put
Yep.
this on.
Cruising with In Step on August 7th. Cruise night is 4:00 p.m. Drive-in movie starts at 9. It's at 450 South Vinoy in Westland. There'll be food, karaoke, dash plaques, music, people's choices, and more. Details or questions, call Don at donnicholson.net.
That's
Well,
it.
Yeah, that's
all
great.
I got. I did want to mention real quick that yard waste is going to start being picked up April 1st. So you can have your leaves and small branches picked up then.
We've got a Kiwanis project a week from Saturday. Kids Against Hunger. We're going to be packaging up thousands of meals to give to local kids as well as kids in Ukraine.
Oh, so you're looking for volunteers for that, right?
We're looking for volunteers. It'll be at the high school. Show up about 9 o'clock.
And what day is that?
It's a week from Saturday on the 16th.
Okay, week from Saturday. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, remember, we're always looking for guests to be on the show. If you're interested, you know someone might be interested, we'd love to hear from you. Just email us at gccommunitychat@gmail.com or message us on Facebook. Doesn't matter what community you live in, we want to hear from you. Come on the show and share your information with us and the surrounding communities. Contact us today, and we look forward to hearing from you. And with that said, Mike, I think we're ready to call this a podcast.
Yes, podcast.
We want to thank State Representative Dylan Wegela for being here tonight. Once again, you can contact him at 517-373-3818 or 3818. Yep. 517-373-3818. Or you can email him at votewegela@gmail.com. He'll answer that too, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to my fantastic co-host, meteorologist Dr. Tom Iwinski, and Mike Jones. Great job as always. Mike, any final thoughts before we go?
No, just my standard. Be sure you get vaccinated.
Exactly. Also, a huge thank you to each and every one of you for sharing part of your time to spend with us tonight. And we appreciate your support over the 14 years now. Remember, this show will be available right after we sign off tonight on Facebook. So we hope that you'll catch it at your convenience, especially if you tuned in late by going to facebook.com/GCChat. And feel free to share with your friends as well. Also catch us on our YouTube channel, like the Garden City Community Chat Show. And you'll find not only this show, but all our past shows as well. Just click on the live tab. And please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the subscribe button. We would appreciate that as well. And as always, at the end of the shows, we like to thank all the healthcare workers, first responders, police and fire, everyone on the front lines who serve and protect us every day. We can't thank you enough. Be safe, and we want you to know that you and your families are in our thoughts and prayers every day. And when you see any of these heroes, please let them know how much you appreciate them. Remember, the success of the community depends on the community, so please support your local businesses. And please don't hesitate, vaccinate. Just like Mike said, get that COVID booster and your flu shots, your RSV shots. Remember, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting others as well. And Mike, if you see something,
Say something.
exactly, we got to look out for one another out there. For more weather information, head on over to drtomsweather.com. It's got a great user-friendly website over there full of good information. So we hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to contact any of us here at the chat for any reason, once again, email us at gcommunitychat@gmail.com. Let us know how we're doing, what you'd like to see more of. Join us next week, March 14th, when our guest will be Richard Werabelski from Chubb's Smokehouse Catering. Well, until then, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com /GCChat. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@GC Community Chat Show. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your week and stay safe. Good night. Mike, feel better.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Take care, pal. Night.